good evening, this is Hound Dog Steve wishing you a very pleasant evening and welcome back to my channel. And Bitcoin as the world reserve currency. Well, Mark Carney, the Bank of England chairman, came out the other day and said that what the world needs is some crypto-based currency as the world reserve currency. And then he offered up the Facebook Libra coin as a potential choice for the world reserve currency. And it's kind of interesting because, as we know, Mark Carney is a globalist. He sits on the board of directors of the Bank of International Settlements, which is basically the clearinghouse and directorship for all of the central banks throughout the world. And you'll see on the list of board of directors that every central bank governor goes to the Bank of International Settlements to get their orders as to how the world is going to run, financially speaking. And this is what I found when you listen to these people talk. And of course they always want to maneuver you into picking the box that they point you towards to open for the star prize. And interesting enough, Mark Carney said that we need to have a world reserve currency that is independent and switching from one hegemonic currency to another, which is what happened in 1946 when Britain lost the reserve currency status because, of course, they did exactly what America is doing now. Poor financial choices, overspending, borrowing for the war, and of course every time they borrowed money from themselves they created a bond and created money with that bond, and they inflated their currency. And when a reserve currency inflates its currency, the rest of the world who are tied to that currency have to suddenly change all of their pricing. All of the deals that have been in negotiation have to be changed because all of the world's prices have changed because the benchmark has changed. And of course America is doing exactly this right now. They're printing money like crazy to cover up their debt problems and to try and stimulate their economy. And of course every time they do this, the whole world is affected. And so a crypto reserve currency would basically stabilize the world's currencies and act like a gold standard. So you can see that inflation began in 1972 just coincidentally as we came off the gold standard. And of course the gold standard was basically the brake on the lending of central banking institutions because they could not lend more than the amount of gold they had in asset backing in their vaults. And of course we had reached what's called the Minsky moment, which is where your debt-fueled growth has now come to an end and your debt repayment is now catching up with you. And so the banks were basically trapped into a corner. They couldn't create any more debt, they couldn't grow anymore, and so they basically lobbied the government to remove the gold standard. And once that happened, you can see in these charts exactly what happened. Your spending power or the consumer price index went through the roof, and inflation went through the roof. So here is clear evidence of what happens when you don't have some kind of arbitrary limiting factor on the amount of loans that can be created by banks and governments. Now it's also interesting that Mark Carney should start suggesting Libra coin. Now this is a Facebook coin, it is a cryptocurrency. But the important thing that separates this cryptocurrency and blockchain currency from a currency like Bitcoin is the fact that it is not open sourced. It is completely controlled by Facebook, and given their history of deception, goodness knows what they might have. They could be printing duplicate keys to your accounts so they have control over your account and money. This is an absolute disaster waiting to happen, and it's basically just another central bank way of controlling the population. And I'm sure that they will be using this coin to fund debt the same way as they're doing right now. And I believe that with Libra coin very little will actually change, but it will get you to buy into a cryptocurrency that will hide their bad behavior and basically hold you to account to be absolutely honest and upfront and transparent in all of your dealings everywhere. And of course, you see, because Bitcoin is an open source cryptocurrency, That means that everybody's dealings are open and transparent. You can go onto the Bitcoin blockchain and you can check all of the transactions that have happened on Bitcoin since its inception. And so this is the route we want to go. Do not be fooled into buying into Libra coin unless, and I was saying to a friend today, I might invest in Libra coin for a short while as a speculative venture, because I think that it is going to surge for the first 3 to 6 months. But I think ultimately currencies like Bitcoin, Litecoin and Ethereum will come back to the fore because they are decentralized and you have control over your cryptocurrencies and no one else. Okay, so let's go over these couple of articles that I found, and we'll come back and I'll do a quick wrap up. Okie dokie, here we go. And this from Bloomberg: Carney urges Libra-like reserve currency to end dollar dominance. Mark Carney laid out a radical proposal for an overhaul of the global financial system that would eventually replace the dollar as a reserve currency with a Libra-like virtual one. His most striking point was that the dollar's position as the world reserve currency must end at some form of global digital currency similar to Facebook Inc.'s proposed Libra would be a better option. That would be preferable to allowing the dollar's reserve status to be replaced by another national currency such as China's renminbi. This is the important bit. In the longer term, we need to change the game, Carney said. When change comes, it shouldn't be to swap one currency hegemon for another. Libra is planned to be a worldwide digital currency that could lie outside the direct control of central banks. So far, it has drawn opprobrium, which means scorn, from most policymakers. French Finance Minister Bruno Le Maire said it is out of the question, and US House Financial Services Committee Chair Maxine Ward has promised an aggressive response from Congress. Carney has been more sympathetic, though in his speech he said it may be that a new synthetic hegemonic currency would be best provided by the public sector through a network of central bank digital currencies. Even if the initial variants of the idea prove wanting, the concept is intriguing, he said. A synthetic hegemonic currency could dampen the domineering influence of the US dollar on global trade. And I love the way they threw in that word, synthetic. Okay, so this is from the Bank of International Settlements website, Board of Directors. The board may have up to 18 members, including 6 ex officio directors comprising the central bank governors of Belgium, France, Germany, Italy and the United Kingdom and the United States. They may jointly appoint one other member of the nationality of their central banks. 11 governors of other member central banks may be elected to the board. And of course here's Mark Carney, Mario Draghi, Stephen Paulos from Canada. These are all bigwigs in the banking world, and they basically handle all of the banking that goes on, the international banking that goes on in the world today through the World Bank or the International Monetary Fund. Okay, and this from Hackanoon: Libra coin, why you should not trust. It's only been 2 years since Facebook heard about Cambridge Analytica. Facebook, WhatsApp, Instagram, such as the world's most widely used social media platforms, our personal data is explicitly used or sold by Facebook. I think we all know that now. The Cambridge Analytica fiasco made this clear. Do we still want to trust Libra coin? The Cambridge Analytica scandal is suddenly a major problem for Facebook. On Tuesday, the Federal Trade Commission opened an investigation into how Cambridge Analytica, ostensibly a voter profiling company, accessed data of about 50 million Facebook users, according to the Wall Street Journal. Many articles about Libra coin have been published on this platform, so I just want to talk briefly about this coin. After 2 years of speculation, Facebook has finally unveiled Libra, a cryptocurrency that says it will empower billions of users around the world by giving them access to financial services, whilst providing an easy-to-use form of digital cash for everyone else. As has been rumoured during the past few months, the network will be built on the Libra blockchain, which will support the Libra, a stable coin whose day-to-day value is engineered to be relatively flat and not volatile like other cryptocurrencies. The stablecoin's value is pegged to a group of low volatility national currencies, including the US dollar, the Japanese yen and the euro. This is the important point. Libra is not decentralized nor censorship resistant. Libra is not a cryptocurrency. Libra will destroy all stablecoins. But there are some problems with this being sustainable. Except for the Americas and Europe, the money may not be taken out for many reasons, due to many obstacles, especially in Asia, South Africa and the Middle East. Money exchanges cannot take place at the desired pace and speed. Mark Zuckerberg wants to avoid this first. In this way, the exchange of money on all platforms without any restrictions can be done quickly. Since the money paid to the companies will be made with Libra coin, it will be fully traceable and controllable. What does that mean? Facebook, which previously used all our personal data without our permission, will be able to keep records of our monetary transactions. In this way, our personal data can be monitored in monetary terms. Mark Zuckerberg will now be able to monitor not only our information in our social media accounts, but also our spending habits. Do these remind you of 1984? Here is the argument they use. Many of Facebook's users reside in places with low financial services penetration. Imagine a world where a Filipino helper can purchase goods sold in Europe with Libra. She most likely does not have great banking services where she works as an overseas foreign worker. Therefore, purchasing goods from foreign countries over the internet is difficult. With Libra, there is no issue. Here is the fact. Blockchain technology is not a new technology. We've been living with this for 10 years, but adaptation continues to progress, albeit slowly. We may not be at this stage we want to with regards to payment and use in daily life, but Mark Zuckerberg presents it as something new. This is nothing new, but when we think of the biggest companies in the world, Mark Zuckerberg is the one who has taken the most serious steps in this. Although it sounds good as an argument, although Mark Zuckerberg's courage is appreciated, all previous scandals cast a shadow on Libra coin's name. So what I want to say is that a person who steals and sells all of our personal data cannot speak of liberty or decentralization. You won't need Libra coin to survive, as you can use Linux instead of Windows to use computers. Libra coin can succeed. We may even thank it for creating a bullish effect on the cryptocurrencies market, but we should never trust it. So there you go. If you want to invest in Libra coin, do so as a speculative venture. Take your money and run like hell. So I think ultimately the world will demand a cryptocurrency that is open sourced, so that we all have a level playing field that is honest, that we can all work with. A completely neutral arbiter of all financial transactions. And you know, it's kind of interesting that I actually feel that we have reached the point of total corruption in the world today. And I say that because just about every country and every individual in the world today is up to their eyeballs in debt. And if you are not in debt individually, then your country is in debt on your behalf. And so everybody is paying the piper to the debt collector. The inflation has completely left seniors out of the loop. Interest rates are rock bottom, and they're looking like they're heading into negative interest rates again, which would destroy any kind of savings that anybody has. All these people who worked hard all their lives and saved their money are going to be zeroed out. They're going to lose money every year. And all of this is brought about by the inflationary nature of the fractional reserve currency system. And that has to go, my friends. And so, of course, governments are scared to death of open source cryptocurrency systems because they have absolutely no control. And it's interesting to note that Bitcoin is illegal in China, and yet the Chinese citizens happen to be the largest purchasers worldwide of Bitcoin. So even the Chinese can't control the buying and selling of cryptocurrencies within its own borders. And the other situation which gives me great confidence is a New Brunswick exchange. The owner of the exchange recently died, and along with him went the secret of the keys to all the cryptocurrency accounts. He hid them for safety reasons, of course, but didn't tell anybody. didn't leave a dead man's switch so that once he died that information will be released to a lawyer or something, and now they can't get into those accounts. And I can assure you they have got every hacker that they can lay their hands on trying to open up those accounts, because millions and millions of dollars are literally trapped in these accounts now. And that again tells me that this is the completely safe and secure way of transacting and storing your money. Now, of course, beware of being on exchanges. You need to have yourself a decent wallet. I have an online Exodus wallet, and I also have a Trezor hard wallet. So you really need to protect yourself. Do not leave your money in crypto exchanges because they are extremely dangerous. But look out, I am thinking in a year, maybe a year and a half, we will be begging for Bitcoin to be the world reserve currency. And think about this, when gold was backing the currencies of the world, okay, basically the gold took its value from all of the debt that existed at that time, okay, because it was a debt limiter. You could not lend out more than you had gold as an asset to back that loan, okay, or create more money than you had in gold assets. And so your reserve has to equal all of the debt that's existing in the world, and all of the debt existing in the world today is $1.8 quadrillion. And now, because we know that there are only 25 million bitcoins in the Bitcoin system, if you divide 25 million into 1.8 quadrillion, that works out to about $186,000 per Bitcoin. And so that is the price that Bitcoin would have to rise to stabilize the debt markets and to bring some kind of order and honesty back to the financial markets, because every financial market today is basically corrupted. Now, there isn't one financial market today that isn't being fiddled or manipulated in some way, shape or form. And to be quite honest with you, and I think there are a few leaders who are realizing this, that even corruption needs a level playing field to be corrupt within. When everything is corrupt, you can't trust anything. And at the end of the day, we need to be able to trust those people we are dealing with. Even criminals have a code of trust so they can transact with each other without blowback. And the only way you can do that, I think, in today's world now is with a blockchain cryptocurrency that introduces triple entry accounting that prevents fraud before it happens. So hang on to your hats, buy yourself some Bitcoin, and get ready for Bitcoin to be the world reserve currency. Okay, well, if you enjoyed this video, please like, comment and subscribe below. And in the meantime, this is Hound Dog Steve signing off, wishing you a very pleasant evening, and we will talk very, very shortly. See you now. Bye.